see you here. Thank you, Dr. Much, for understanding what I was saying. Those of you who have ever encountered the German railways will know that they do operate to the second.
Yeah.
I mean, when it is, if it says the train is going to leave at 10:57, it goes 10:56, boop, 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 zzz, away it goes. So, good morning, and welcome to our birthday celebration and puja for Swami Vivekananda and Swami Brahmananda. I'll have a few words to say. More than a few, actually. There's lots to say about these wonderful men. Of course, the reason they came, both of them, it was very clear, was that in 1836, Sri Ramakrishna was born in Kamarpukur. Now, Kamarpukur is not near Calcutta. In those days, it was a very long trek, on foot or by palanquin, from Calcutta. 3 days it could take to get from Kamarpukur to Calcutta. So it was still very much the village life in Kamarpukur, and Calcutta was a developing city under the British. By the 1850s, Calcutta had two areas: the primarily British so-called White Town and the mostly Indian so-called Black Town that centered in North Calcutta. There was great wealth in both quarters. One great example was Rani Rasmani, the woman who paid for the Dakshineshwar temple compound where Sri Ramakrishna became a priest, and for where he lived as this drama unfolded with Narendranath Datta and Rakal Chandra Ghosh. This capital city of the British Empire in India underwent rapid industrial growth. Now, this is important to remember. The reason for this background is it gives you a sense of the time and place in which Naren and Rakal were growing up. It didn't so much affect Sri Ramakrishna 4 miles away to the north at Dakshineshwar. Not that he wasn't aware of it, he was very aware of it. But this capital city of the British Empire in India underwent rapid industrial growth during the 1850s in the textile and jute industries and the opium trade. British companies installed telegraph connections and built the Howrah railway station. Consolidation of British power also led to the development of the city's impressive public architecture and good roads. In 1854, the first railway in India was built from Calcutta to Hooghly. In 1857, the University of Calcutta was established. This is the prosperous, rapidly growing metropolis into which Naren and Rakal were born, just 9 days apart, in January of 1863. And of course, numerologists have great fun with the fact that Sri Ramakrishna was born in 1836, which both add 18 and 36, both add to 9, which add to 18, which adds to 9, and then 1863 also adds to 9. Very interesting. The end of one era and the beginning of another. That's one interpretation of the numerology. 9 is the end of a series, and so it's very interesting that this is numerologically from that perspective. On January 12th, 1863, Narendranath Datta was born into this still very quaint city, a city that was about to further shed its old colors and take on new and unknown attributes. 9 days later, on the 21st of January, 9 days later, On the 21st of January, Rakal Chandra Ghosh arrived in the home of a wealthy zamindar or landlord. It is interesting to note that both these boys were born into the Kayashta clan, a clan that cannot be classified in the pure four traditional castes, but is a mix of two. Priests meet the warriors and administrator in this subcaste. What the priests lack, the warriors fulfill, and vice versa. And you can see this very much in the life of both Rakal and Naren. They were both extremely, they just were warriors, and not in the armed sense, but they simply forged forward. They simply did gain their victory. Both Naren and Rakal, these lions of Vedanta to be, were still cubs in the 1860s. Much instruction and education were needed for them to become the saints that gave rise to the awe and love we have and express for them today. Something of the early lives of Naren and Rakal. Narendra was interested in spirituality from a very young age and used to play at meditating before the images of deities such as Shiva, Rama, and Sita. He was fascinated by wandering ascetics. As a matter of fact, he had to be prevented from giving away the family's wherewithal. He would throw it out the window of his room to a passing sadhu. Narendra was fascinated by wandering ascetics and monks. At an early age, he became familiar with the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas. Narendra was trained also in Indian classical music and regularly participated in that and in physical exercise, sports, and other organized activities. Yet, as we know, education begins at home. For the lion Naren, despite the British education system in which he no doubt excelled, it was the education he got at home that formed his foundation. The progressive, rational attitude of Narendra's father and the deeply religious temperament of his mother helped shape his thinking and personality. Narendra was an avid reader and was interested in a wide variety of subjects, including philosophy, religion, history, social science, art, and literature. For example, this is a very interesting example. Narendra became fascinated with the evolutionism of Herbert Spencer. He quoted him often in conversations, even with Sri Ramakrishna, certainly with Hazra. He had long conversations about these things. But he not only was interested, he corresponded with Spencer and translated Spencer's book, Education, into Bengali. At a very young age, he did these things. While studying Western philosophers, Narendra also learned Sanskrit scriptures and Bengali literature. William Hastie, the principal of a school Narendra attended, wrote, quote, "Narendra is really a genius. I have traveled far and wide, but I have never come across a lad of his talents and possibilities, even in German universities among philosophical students." So this is just a little exclamation point on what how Narendra was regarded by people who were evaluating him when he was in his teens. Rakal, too, had varied interests. Physically, he was much stronger than most boys of his age and was an outstanding student. Near his home was a temple dedicated to the goddess Kali. Often, Rakal would be found seated, still and calm, witnessing a ceremony. Or at dusk, when the service was being performed, Rakal could be seen standing before the deity in great devotion. Now, we know that when Sri Ramakrishna left the body, Sri Sharda Devi said, "Oh, my Kali, where have you gone?" So this early fascination with Kali was certainly something that went beyond mere curiosity and sentimentality. There was something deeper underlying it. Rakhal met Narendranath when Naren was the dynamic leader of the boys of their neighborhood. A close friendship grew up between them. Later, when they both became disciples of Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar and leaders of the Master's inner circle of young followers, their education and their friendship was completed. During the early 1880s, those who became Thakur's monastic disciples, and by this we most often understand just the boys, but there were a number of women who also became monastics after the Master's passing away. It's not so much as known about them, but there were a number of them. Some of them became Holy Mother's close attendants, Sri Sharda Devi's close attendants. But there were others that formed convents and so on, long before the Sardhamat that we are familiar with as an aspect of the Ramakrishna mission. Long before that was formed, these women were also working. So when we say monastic disciples, during the early 1880s, those who became Thakur's monastic disciples began to arrive. Their training continued until August 15th, 16th in India. It was the day earlier here. Until August 15th, 1886, when Sri Ramakrishna gave up his body and left his work to Sri Sharda Devi, his wife, Naren, Rakhal, and the other boys, and the Master's women disciples. In September of 1893, Swami Vivekananda's appearances at the World's Parliament of Religions made him an overnight sensation, a star. Literally within 2 weeks, he went from obscurity to being named and written about in all the major journals, newspapers, and magazines of the day. Literally in just 2 weeks' time, this happened. So he became an overnight star. He began to teach in the West, and as he did this, he transformed the spiritual and intellectual thought current of both the United States and the United Kingdom. And if you want evidence of this, look to the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal at the time of the celebration of Swami Vivekananda's 150th birth anniversary in 2013. Both of those journals, which are the two leading newspapers of culture and politics and finance and so on of this nation, both of those papers had 2-page spreads, full 2 pages on Swami Vivekananda. And they mentioned the fact that he was the one who introduced the word yoga into the United States and Great Britain and the United Kingdom, and transformed people's understanding of what the possibilities of spirituality were. As Swami Vivekananda said to the Brooklyn Ethical Association in 1895, he said, "I have a mission to the West, as Buddha had a mission to the East." In 1897, Vivekananda made a triumphant return to India as a national hero. In that same year, he formally launched the Ramakrishna Order and began his leadership of India's youth. On July 4th, 1902, the Swami, quite deliberately, as he put it, spat out the body. He said, I will be now more effective outside the body. And so on July 4th, he laid down and left the body. As those of you who've been to Bellarmine know, a beautiful temple now stands at the place where his body was cremated on the grounds of Bellarmine. Here are some more details. Here are more details about the life of Swami Brahmananda. Now, Vivekananda his mission was to the west. And he was invited to that mission by Sri Ramakrishna in a dream, inviting him to cross the ocean. Brahmananda stayed in India, and his role, as we'll see, was to take this bud of an order of monastics, this little tiny flower of a group of no more than a dozen people, and turn it into what it became over the course of his lifetime. As was the custom in those days, Rakhal was married at age 18. Soon after the marriage, his bride's brother, Manamohan, who was a close devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, took Rakhal to meet the master at the Dakshineshwar Kali temple. Prior to that meeting, Sri Ramakrishna had a powerful vision, and you can read about it in the Gospel and even in more detail in the book The Divine Play, or the Great Master, Swami Saradananda's book, translated by Swami Chaitananda and Swami Nikhilananda. Prior to that meeting with Rakhal, Sri Ramakrishna had a powerful vision. The Divine Mother showed him a child and told him the boy would be his spiritual son. As soon as Rakhal came to the temple, actually while he was still out on the Ganges coming in the boat, Sri Ramakrishna recognized him as that child and began to treat him like a son, as did Sri Sharada Devi, the Holy Mother. There's an instance in which Sri Sharada Devi was telling a disciple to go and buy new Garawa cloths for her, for the boys, as she called them. And she said, get these cotton cloths. And then as the disciple was going out, and she said, oh, and one silk cloth for Rakhal. And the disciple stopped and looked at her and said, Mother, I thought you said they were all your sons. And she said, yes, they are all my sons, but Rakhal is my son. So there was this special relationship with both Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. After that first meeting and a few more visits, Rakhal came to live with Sri Ramakrishna. And if you read the story of that in the Great Master, or the Divine Play of Sri Ramakrishna, or the Life of Brahmananda, it is such an inspiring tale of taking this boy who had been born into privilege and was quite used to the fine things of life, changing him into the ascetic that he became. So after a few more visits, Rakhal came to live with Sri Ramakrishna. Under the Master's steady guidance, he practiced intense spiritual disciplines and attained high levels of spiritual awakening. After Sri Ramakrishna left the body in the summer of 1886, some of the Master's direct disciples formed a new monastic brotherhood at Varanagore. A place was rented for them, an older house in a kind of a dilapidated neighborhood, Varanagore, a neighborhood of Kolkata. Rakhal joined that monastery, much to the objection of his family, taking sannyas vows and the name Brahmananda. 2 years later, in 1888, he left the Baranagar Mutt and lived as a wandering monk, leading an intensely contemplative life at Varanasi, Omkarnath, Vrindavan, Hardwar, and other places. During this time, he attained the highest non-dualistic realization, sometimes remaining in samadhi for days at a time. In 1890, Swami Brahmananda came back to the monastery in Kolkata. Now, people asked him in later years, Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna gave you everything. Why did you have to go and practice these austerities for 2 years? And he said, yes, he gave me everything, but I had to make it my own. Why did he have to make it his own? So that he could give it away. So that you cannot give away what you do not own. So he made it his own so that he could give it away, and is still giving it away to those who seek his guidance. When Swami Vivekananda returned to India in 1897, and I said in 1890, Brahmananda came back to the monastery in Kolkata and began to grow the organization. People were beginning to come, young men, and so on. There were many disciples of the master that were seeking guidance from Swami Brahmananda and so on. Much was going on. But it still hadn't been formalized. So when Vivekananda returned to India in 1897, he had decided to do something radically different with the lives of Ramakrishna order monastics. The monks were to offer hands-on service to improve the lives of India's poor and downtrodden, both in famine and disaster, yes, that, but also giving education in the villages, starting clinics, starting service in many ways to the people who had been so oppressed and exploited under first the Mughals and then the British. Swami Brahmananda wholeheartedly supported Swami's initiative. There was a deep love between these two monastic brothers. Together they established the Belur Monastery on the banks of the Ganges, and I don't want to neglect to mention Holy Mother's activities in this. They consulted her at on every aspect of this. Every aspect. Holy Mother was intimately involved, although always in the background, never in the forefront. So they established Belur Math on the banks of the Ganges as the order's headquarters. When Swami Vivekananda registered the Ramakrishna Math as a trust, Swami Brahmananda became its first president. This is when it became an official organization. Brahmananda held this post as president of the order for the rest of his life. During his time as president, the Ramakrishna order expanded greatly. Many new branch centers were opened in India and abroad. He didn't leave the body until 1922, and many of the centers in the United States, before Swami Vivekananda had established 2 Vedanta societies himself. In 1894, one in New York City, and in 1900, during his second visit to the United States, in 1900 he established the Vedanta Society of Northern California in San Francisco. So these were the 2 that he established himself. But there were others that were coming up. Paramananda was busy here. There were others. Abhedananda, Turiyananda, many of the direct disciples and others. So branch centers were opened in India and abroad. The story of opening the centers in India, please do take time to read it sometime. It is so inspiring because it was not easy. The Ramakrishna monks and the way they did things were not accepted in the beginning. Now, of course, they've transformed monasticism, and monasticism is very much according to their model. But at the time, what they were doing, they were dismissed as doing women's work. And they had to hold up their heads against this kind of criticism. This is where Swami Vivekananda said they must have nerves of iron and muscles of steel. To organize and administer the growth of the order, the Ramakrishna mission, which had been started by Swami Vivekananda earlier, to be the organization and like the 501c3 that runs this place, the nonprofit corporation, to organize and administer the growth of the order. The Ramakrishna mission, which had been founded earlier by Swami Vivekananda, was revived and registered. So it's both Ramakrishna Mat and mission, two separate organizations under one leadership, but with two different purposes. As a leader, Swami Brahmananda placed great stress on the contemplative life. His benign sattvic influence helped counterbalance the strenuous, serviceful activities undertaken by the order's monks. During those difficult formative years, Brahmananda gave great stability to a rapidly evolving organization. Rakal was one of the 6 disciples, this of course included Vivekananda. Rakal was one of the 6 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, whom the Master regarded as Ishwara Kotis, ever free souls, who are his eternal companions. I asked Swami Chandrasekharananda when he was here, tell us something about Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda that we haven't heard, something that's in the oral tradition. And he said, oh yes, Sri Ramakrishna said of Vivekananda, he is related to me on my in-laws' side. Ever free souls that are his eternal companions. Now, we know that Holy Mother lived well into the 20th century. Well into the 20th century. She didn't leave us until just 100 years ago. In 1920, Sri Sharda Devi left the body. It was only 2 years later, after a brief illness, that Swami Brahmananda gave up his body on April 10th, 1922. In his memory, of course, there is also a simple and beautiful temple at the place where his body was cremated on the grounds of Bellarmine. So that's just a tiny fraction of what might be said about these 2 great souls. Trying to describe either one of them is like trying to capture a water buffalo with a butterfly net. You're not going to manage it. So, let me just finish by saying how very glad I am that you're here with us this morning to help celebrate the birthdays of these 2 great leaders, these transformers of humanity, these that the Master left behind after his brief life of 50 years, left behind to do so much work. And the work continues. This is part of it here this morning. Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om, Om Hari Om Tat Sat. Now Aditya will perform the puja for both of these 2, birthday celebration for both. So if you'd like to adjust the video. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Uma Majmadar would like to tell us a little something about why this weekend is special, beyond what we already know.
Thank you. Today I'm standing before you for two specific reasons. One, most of you probably don't know, but 5 years ago we lost our very special Vedantist, John Slank. It has been 5 years since he passed on January 27, and tomorrow is January 26th, which is a special day for all Indians. Tomorrow is the Indian Republic Day. It's called Prajasatta Day. And how these two topics, this very auspicious day today, we are celebrating Swami Vivekananda's birthday and Brahmananda's birthday. But I want to connect today with what is coming tomorrow in connection with the Indian nationalism. Gandhiji, of course, brought freedom to India from British by a very special, non-violent method. But probably most people are not aware that the roots of Gandhiji's ideas of spiritualism and politics. Now, Swami Vivekananda did not participate in politics. However, he was a great nationalist, and his ideas of nationalism were deeply rooted in spiritualism. And how so? I would even go ahead and say that the roots of Satyagraha, which Gandhiji practiced, the ideas of sticking to the truth of the matter, the inspiration came from Swami Vivekananda. Particularly the ideas of fearlessness, of courage, standing on your ground without giving up. The only difference was that in Vivekananda's time, strength, manliness, spirituality, those are the ideas not necessarily non-violent. In Gandhi's time, the difference that I see that he brought was to convert these ideas of fearlessness as a very special inner strength, standing for what you believe without socketing, without giving tit for tat or eye for eye. So that's what I wanted to remind, that these ideas of self-sacrifice for the nation, for the masses of people, both feel acutely, deeply, Vivekananda and Gandhi, for the masses of people who are suffering. And second idea which both leaders instilled in people was that you are something You are a divine being. You are not an ordinary person. So do not be cowed down. Do not be, subjugated by foreign power. You got your melodies. You got your swattva. So fight with all your inner soul and strength. And that's how I think Swami Vivekananda was the spiritual predecessor of Mahatma Gandhi. And what a beautiful sangam of today and tomorrow. So this is how it occurred to me that today we should connect the two. And of course, we terribly miss John Slang, whose quiet presence is in this room, in his music, in his dedication. And he was, for those who don't know, he was the editor of American Vivekanandist for years and years. So we bow down to his memories and pay homage to Dr. Slang. Thank you.
So I'll be repeating myself as I always say. So when I do the puja, it's not just me doing it, it's everybody doing it together. So and as I'm doing the puja, I will be mentioning what's happening here. So you should also think it mentally. And the puja has two levels, as I always say. One is the mental worship, and then the other is the physical or the bodily worship. And it's basically making different offerings to the god, offering for washing the feet of the deity, then for rinsing the mouth, then bathing, then it's followed by offering incense and fragrance, flower, and then food at the end. So this is a setup of the puja that we will be offering, and it's a tradition in Belud Math and other centers across the Ramakrishna mission that on birthday celebrations of all the direct disciples of Thakur, puja is generally offered to Thakur. Yeah, definitely to Swamiji and Raja Maharaj, puja is definitely offered to them separately also. But to other disciples, it's generally puja is offered to Thakur. So keeping that in mind, we'll be worshipping Thakur today, and Swamiji and Raja Maharaj and other direct disciples are called Parshads, or the attendants of this deity Sri Ramakrishna. So and they are contained in his own body, or in his own self. So they are not different from Thakur. So worshipping him is also worshipping them. So we'll be worshipping Thakur today, and we begin with first thanking Vishnu, because he is the witness to everything good we do. So as witness, we'll invoke him, and then we'll begin this auspicious act. That will be followed by cleansing, doing this internal and external cleansing, which is done just by taking name, because the name of the God purifies, and therefore if you remember God, if you remember Vishnu, then you are purified. So that's all, that's we'll do to begin with. Om सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं वरेण्यं वरदं शुभं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य सर्वकर्माणि कारयेत्। ओम विष्णु 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 ओम तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम् ओम अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थांगतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं स बाह्याभ्यन्तरः शुचिः। Now, because we'll be making a lot of offering of water, the water needs to be pure, and here in this container I will be first keeping some water aside and consecrating it with waters of all the 7 holy rivers to make it pure. Om Grim Ete Gandhapushpe Adhara Shaktaadibhyo Namaha. ओम गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे सर्वेभ्यो तीर्थेभ्यो नमः। ओम द्वारदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे द्वारदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे ब्रह्मणे नमः। ओम एते गन्धपुष्पे वास्तुपुरुषाय नमः। Having worshipped the deities of the door and other minor divinities, we make offering to all the evil powers that are present. So it's not only about worshipping the divinity, it's also casting the evil powers out, though there might not be any, but anything that can be an obstacle in this auspicious act needs to be warded out. So in this mantra which I'll say, I will be sprinkling rice around, and I will be saying that by the command of Shiva, I request and command all these inauspicious energies that might create obstacle in this auspicious act be warded out. Om ओम रक्ष रक्ष हुम फट स्वाहा। ओम ह्रीं एते गंधपुष्पे आधार शक्तादिभ्यो नमः। ओम अस्यासनोपवेशन मंत्रस्य मेरुपृष्ठः ऋषिः सुतलं छन्दः कुर्मो देवता आसनोपवेशने विनियोगः। ओम पृथ्वी त्वया धृता लोका देवी त्वं विष्णुना धृता त्वं च धारय मां नित्यं पवित्रं कुरु चासनम्। ओम ह्रीं एते गंधपुष्पे आधार शक्तये कमलासनाय नमः। ऐं गुरुभ्यो नमः। ऐं परम गुरुभ्यो नमः। ऐं परापरा गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम परमेष्टि गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम गणेशाय नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। So now I consecrated the seat I'm sitting on, the asan, requesting the Mother Earth to bear me as I do this puja, and then I made salutations to the whole series of gurus. So our guru, then his guru, then his guru, then Sri Ramakrishna, then Ganesha, who's to be worshipped in beginning of all the pujas, and then the chief deity of today's puja, that is Sri Ramakrishna. Om Astraya Bhat, Om Aim Bhat, Om Aim Bhat, Om Aim Bhat. Om Mamaim Mam Kamaim Kam Chamaim Cham Tamaim Tam Tamaim Tam Pamaim Pam Yamaim Yam Shamaim Sham. Ram 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 Ram. Om Shatabhisheka Hum Phat Swaha, Om Shatabhisheka Hum Phat Swaha, Om Shatabhisheka Hum Phat Swaha, Om Pushpe Pushpe Mahapushpe Supushpe Pushpa Sambhave, Pushpe Chaya Vakilne Cha Hum Phat Swaha, Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ramakrishna Namaha, Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ramakrishna Namaha, Om Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ramakrishna Namaha, Om Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ramakrishna Namaha. Om Durge Durge Rakshini Swaha, Om Am Hum Phat Swaha, Om Durge Durge Rakshini Swaha, Om Am Hum Phat Swaha, Om Durge Durge Rakshini Swaha, Om Am Hum Phat Swaha. Om Bhuta Shringatachira Sushumna Pathena Jiva Shivam Paramashiva Yojayami Swaha. Om Yam Linga Shariram Shoshe Shoshe Swaha. Om Ram Sankocha Shariram Daha Daha Swaha. Om Paramashiva Sushumna Pathena Mula Shringata Mulla Solla Sajwala Jwala Prajwala Prajwala Soham Ham Sah Swaha. Am Hum Phat Swaha. Am Hum Phat Swaha. Am Hum Phat Swaha. Soham. Aum Green Krom Yam Ram Lam Sham Sam Sam Hom Ham Sa Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Prana Iha Prana. Aum Green Krom Yam Ram Lam Sham Sam Sam Hom Ham Sa Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Jiva Iha Stitah. Aum Green Krom Yam Ram Lam Sham Sam Sam Hom Ham Sa Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Sarvendriyani. Aum Green Krom Yam Ram Lam Sham Sam Sam Hom Ham Sa Shri Ramakrishna Devataya Vamanas Chakshut Pakshotra Grhana Prana Yagatya Suram Chiram Tishtantu Swaha. ओम अस्य मातृका मंत्रस्य ब्रह्म ऋषि गायत्री छंदः देवी मातृका सरस्वती देवता हलो बीजानि स्वराः शक्तयः अव्यक्त कीलकं सर्वाभीष्ट सिद्धये लिपिन्यासे विनयोगः ओम ब्रह्मणे ऋषये नमः, ओम गायत्री छंदसे नमः, ओम देवी मातृका सरस्वत्यै नमः, ओम हलभ्यो बीजेभ्यो नमः, ओम स्वरेभ्यो शक्तिभ्यो नमः, ओम अव्यक्तकीलकाय नमः, अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः, चम चम जम 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 मीं तर्जनीभ्यां स्वाहा, ओम टम टम डम 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 मुम मध्यमाभ्यां वषटीं तम थम दम धम नमः मयि अनामिकाभ्यां ओम पम पम बम बम मम मम कनिष्ठाभ्यां वषट, ओम यम यम रम नमः शं शं करतलभिष्टाभ्यां अस्त्राय फट, ओम अंकं कंकं गंगं 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 गां हृदाय नमः, ईं चम चम जम 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 मीं शिरसे स्वाहा, ओम टम 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 डम 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 मुम शिखाय वषट, ऐं तम थम दम धम नमः मयि कवचाय हूँ, ओम पम पम बम बम मम मम नेत्रत्रयाय वषट, अम यम रम नमः शं शं करतलभिष्टाभ्यां अस्त्राय फट. So this was purifying the body with controlling of the breath, the pranayam, and it was followed by the meditation of uniting the Jiva Shiva with the Parama Shiva. So it's not that we are not Shiva, it's just that we are Shiva in another form as Jiva. So that Jiva is then united with the Parama Shiva, because it's a tantric dictum which I have often mentioned. Devo Bhutva Devam Yajet. So becoming the deity, you worship the deity. So it's only the deity who can worship himself and not as a human being. So like you transcend that state, you realize your divinity, and then you worship. ओम एतेभ्यो गंधादिभ्यो नमः, ओम एतेभ्यो गंधादिभ्यो नमः, ओम एतेभ्यो गंधादिभ्यो नमः, ओम एते गंधपुष्पे एतेभ्यो गंधादिभ्यो नमः, ओम एते गंधपुष्पे एतधीपतये देवाय विष्णवे नमः, ओम एते गंधपुष्पे एतत् संप्रदानेभ्य पूजनीय देवताभ्यो नमः. So what is interesting in this puja is in any tantric form of worship is that before making any offering, that offering is also worshipped, because what you are offering is also as we say in that food offering, Brahmarpanam, that the offering also is Brahman. So because we are worshipping something, let's worship everything that's around. So I just worship the flowers and sandal paste and incense that we are offering. So everything is worship. And now I'll be meditating on my Guru, because we begin our worship with Guru. So yeah, everybody can meditate on the Gurus and we'll make the offerings. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatītam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. ओम ईशगंधः श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ऐमिदं सचंदन पुष्पं श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ऐमिदं सचंदन बिल्वपत्रं श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ऐं एष धूपः. ओम ऐं एष धूपः श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ऐं एष दीपः श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ऐमिदं आम्ननैवेद्यं श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम अखंडमंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Then we make offerings to flower and sandal paste offerings to all deities, including Ganesh, Vishnu, Shiva, the 10 Mahavidyas, the 10 avatars, and everybody else before we proceed to our main worship. Om ओम इति गंधपुष्पे गं गणेशाय नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे गणेशादि पंचदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम गम इति गंधपुष्पे गणेशाय नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय इति गंधपुष्पे शिवाय नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय इति गंधपुष्पे नारायणाय नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे सूर्याय नमः। ओम ग्रीं इति गंधपुष्पे जय दुर्गायै नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे अग्नये नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे इंद्रादि दशदिक्पालेभ्यो नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे काल्यादि दश महाविद्याभ्यो नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे मत्स्यादि दशावतारेभ्यो नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे प्रतिपदादि तिथिभ्यो नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे अकारादि पंचाशद् वर्णेभ्यो नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे कृष्णपक्षाय नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे शुक्लपक्षाय नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे पूर्णिमायै नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे अमावास्यायै नमः। Then we meditate on Shiva. ऐं प्रमत्तं शक्तिसंयुक्तं बाणाख्यं परमेश्वरं कामबाणान्वितं देवं संसारदहनक्षमं शृङ्गारादिरसोल्लासं बाणाख्यं परमेश्वरम् एवं ध्यात्वा बाणलिङ्गं यजेत्तं परमं शिवम्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ऐं शगन्धः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐं इदं सचन्दनपुष्पं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐं इदं सचन्दन ऐं एकदूपः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐं एषदीपः बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ऐं इदमाननैवेद्यं बाणेश्वर शिवाय नमः। ॐ बाणेश्वराय नरकार्णवतारणाय ज्ञानप्रदाय करुणामय सागराय कर्पूर्वकुन्दधवलेन्दुजटाधराय बाणेश्वरा दारिद्र्य दुःख दहनाय नमः शिवाय। ऐं ह्रीं ॐ ह्रीं इदं सचन्दन एते गन्धपुष्पे गौर्यै नमः। So we made offerings to Shiva and now we proceed to our main puja to Thakur. So first I do the nyas of the mantra, which is placing the mantra on one's body so that you become one with the mantra and with the deity, because mantra is the verbal manifestation of the deity. So it's the manifestation of the deity in language or in speech, vangmaya, and that we place on the body syllable by syllable, and then we make the offering. So first I'll do the mental worship of Thakur, which will be followed by this external worship. ओम सर्वदेवमयं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय नमः इत्यस्य मंत्रस्य ब्रह्मऋषि गायत्री छन्दः सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपः श्री रामकृष्ण देवता ऋष्यादिन्यासे विनियोगः। ओम ब्रह्मणे ऋषये नमः। ओम गायत्री छन्दसे नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय नमः। ऐं अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः। राम तर्जनीभ्यां स्वाहा। मध्यमाभ्यां वश क्रीं कनिष्ठाभ्यां वषट् श्लं कनिष्ठाभ्यां वषट् ओम ऐं अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः राम तर्जनीभ्यां स्वाहा मम मध्यमाभ्यां वषट् क्रीं अनामिकाभ्यां श्लं कनिष्ठाभ्यां वषट् प्रह करतलभिष्ठाभ्यां वस्त्राय फट् ओम ऐं हृदाय नमः राम श्रीसे स्वाहा मम शिखाय वषट् क्रीं कवचाय हुं श्लं नेत्रत्रयाय वषट् शाक करतलभिष्ठाभ्यां वस्त्राय फट् ओम ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः ओम ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः ओम ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः And now we meditate on Thakur, who is seated in the lotus of our heart. ॐ हृदयकमलमध्ये राजितं निर्विकल्पं सदसदखिल भेदातीतमेकस्वरूपं प्रकृतिविकृतिशून्यं नित्यमानन्दमूर्तिं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः निरूपम् अतिसूक्ष्मं निष्प्रपञ्चं निरीहं गगनसदृशमीशं सर्वभूतादिवासं त्रिगुणरहितसच्चिद्ब्रह्मरूपं वरेण्यं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः वितुरितुम् अवतीर्णं ज्ञानभक्तिप्रशान्तिप्रणयगलयचित्तं जीवदुःखासहिष्णुं धृतसहजसमाधिं चिन्मयं कोमलाङ्गं विमलपरमहंसं रामकृष्णं भजामः ॐ हृतपद्मासनं दद्यात् सहस्राराच्युतामृतैः पाद्यं चरणयोर्दद्यात् मनस्वर्घ्यं निवेदयेत् तेनामृतेनाचमनीयं स्नानीयं तेन च स्मृतम् आकाशतत्त्वं वस्त्रं स्यात् गन्धः स्यात् गन्धतत्त्वकं चित्तं प्रकल्पयेत् पुष्पं धूपं प्राणान् प्रकल्पयेत् तेजस्तत्त्वं च दीपार्थं नैवेद्यं सुधाम्बुधिः अनाहतध्वनिर्घण्टा वायुतत्त्वं च चामरं सहस्रारं भवेत् छत्रं शब्दतत्त्वं च गीतकं नृत्यमिन्द्रियकर्माणि चाञ्चल्यं वनस्तथा सुमेखला पद्ममालां पुष्पं नानाविधं तथा अमायाद्यैर्भावपुष्पैरर्चयेत् भावगोचरम् अमायामनहङ्कारम् अरागमवदं तथा अहिंसा परमं पुष्पं पुष्पमिन्द्रियनिग्रहः दयापुष्पं क्षमापुष्पं ज्ञानपुष्पं च पञ्चमम् इति पञ्चदशैर्भावपुष्पैः सम्पूजयेत् शिवम् ओम ऐं अंगुष्ठाभ्यां नमः राम तर्जनीभ्यां स्वाहा मम मध्यमाभ्यां वषट् क्रीमनामिकाभ्यां श्लं कनिष्ठाभ्यां वषट् रामकृष्ण करतलभिष्ठाभ्यां वस्त्राय नमः ऐं हृदाय नमः राम शिरसे स्वाहा मम शिखाय वषट् क्रीं कवचाय हुं श्लं नेत्रत्रयाय वषट् रामकृष्णाय ओम ग्रीं एते गन्धपुष्पे आधार शब्दादिभ्यो नमः ओम मम एते गन्धपुष्पे वह्निमण्डलाय दशकलात्मने नमः ओम अमीते गंधपुष्पे अर्कमंडलाय द्वादशकलात्मने नमः ओम एते गंधपुष्पे सोममंडलाय षोडशकलात्मने नमः। ओम गंगे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिंधु कावेरी जलेस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु। ओम एते गंधपुष्पे सर्वेभ्यो तीर्थेभ्यो नमः। ओम एते गंधपुष्पे श्रीरामकृष्ण षडंग देवताभ्यो नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। श्रीरामकृष्णदेव ह्यागच्छ ह्यागच्छ ह्य तिष्ठ ह्य तिष्ठ ह्य सन्निधेय सन्निधेय सन्निरुध्यस्व ह्य सन्निरुध्यस्व ह्य सम्मुखो भव ह्य सम्मुखो भव अत्राधिष्ठानं कुरु मम पूजां गृहाण। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ओम ऐं सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। Now we start making offerings to Thakur. So it will begin with making offering for washing his feet. Then we will offer arghya, which is an offering of water with bilva leaves and flowers and some rice and sandal paste. This will be followed by offering for rinsing his mouth, which will be followed by the offering of water for bathing him. Then we offer him some sandal paste to be put on his forehead. This will be followed by flower, bilva leaves, and then incense, lamb, and it will end with the offering of the food, cooked food. ओम ऐं एतत्पाद्यं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. So you can say this mantra, Aim Sarvadeva Devi Swarupaya Shri Ramakrishnaya Namaha, if you can follow, or just say Shri Ramakrishnaya Namaha when I say it. ओम ऐं एतत्पाद्यं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम ऐं इदमाचमनीयोदकं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम ऐं इदं स्नानीयं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्ष सहस्रपात् प्रभुवंशतोतिष्ठदशाङ्गुलम्. ओम अग्निमीळे पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवं स्वयं होतारं रत्नधातमम्. ओम इहे पूर्वे स्वावायवस्तदेवो वः सविता प्रार्थयतु श्रेष्ठतं कर्मणि. ओम अग्न आयादीतये ऋणानो हव्यदातये निहोता सतिवर्षि. ओम शन्नो देवीरभीष्टये आपो भवन्तु पीतये संयोरविस्रवन्तु नः. ओम रामकृष्णाय विद्महे गदाधराय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्. ओम ऐं ईशगन्धः सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम ऐं इदं सचन्दनपुष्पं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम ऐं इदं सचन्दन बिल्वपत्रं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. ओम ऐं ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ॐ रामकृष्णाय विद्महे गदाधराय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ ऐं मेषदीपः सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। ॐ रामकृष्णाय विद्महे गदाधराय धीमहि तन्नो देवः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ ऐमिदं सोपकरणनैवेद्यं सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः। वमेतस्मै सोपकरणनैवेद्याय नमः। वमेतस्मै सोपकरणनैवेद्याय नमः। वमेतस्मै सोपकरणनैवेद्याय नमः। फट् ॐ यं ॐ ऐमिदं सोपकरणनैवेद्यं सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय निवेदयामि। ॐ अमृतोपस्तरणमसि स्वाहा। ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहा। ॐ अपानाय स्वाहा। ॐ उदानाय स्वाहा। ॐ व्यानाय स्वाहा। ॐ समानाय स्वाहा। Now we meditate thinking that Thakur is accepting our offering. ॐ अमृतपिधानमसि स्वाहा। ॐ ऐं पानार्थोदकं सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय स्वधा। ॐ ऐं इदं पुनराश्वनीयोदकं सर्वदेवदेवीस्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय स्वधा। ॐ ऐं मेषासचन्दनपुष्पबिल्वपत्राञ्जलिः सांगाय सावरणाय सशक्तिकाय सपार्षदाय सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपाय श्री रामकृष्णाय वौषण। ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ओम इति गंधपुष्पे ओम ऐं ह्रीं इति गंधपुष्पे सर्वदेव देवी स्वरूपिणी श्री शारदा देव्यै नमः। ओम ऐं इदं श्री रामकृष्ण दिव्य प्रसादं श्री शारदा देव्यै निवेदयामि। ओम अमृतपिधानमसि स्वाहा। ओम ऐं एते गंधपुष्पे स्वामी विवेकानंदाय नमः। ओम इदं श्री रामकृष्ण दिव्य प्रसादं श्रीमद् स्वामी विवेकानंदाय निवेदयामि। ओम अमृतपिधानमसि स्वाहा। ओम ऐं ते गंधपुष्पे श्रीमद् स्वामी ब्रह्मानंदाय नमः। ओम इदं श्री रामकृष्ण दिव्य प्रसादं श्रीमद् स्वामी ब्रह्मानंदाय निवेदयामि। ओम अमृतपिधानमसि स्वाहा। ओम गुह्याति गुह्यगोप्तृत्वं गृहाण स्मत्कृतं जपं सिद्धिर्भवतु मे देव तत्प्रसादान् महेश्वरः। ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यां स्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। That brings us to the conclusion of the puja. Now we'll do the aarti. So we'll say Jai Shri Ramakrishna as we do the aarti. So please join in singing. Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Shri Ramakrishna. Jai Shri Ramakrishna,
Jai
जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय। जय माँ महामाई की जय। जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय। जय राजा महाराज जी की जय। जय भगवत भक्त भगवान की जय। Everybody can make flower offerings.
Yeah.
शान्ति त्वरिता त्वयिप्तं कृष्णा रागे कृते ऋतमध्ये त्वयि राम कृष्णे मत्यामृतं तव पदं स्मरणोर्विनाशम् तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो कृत्यां करोति कलुषं शान्तं शिवं सुविमलं तव नाम नाद त्वशरणो जगदेक गम्या तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो मूर्तमहेश्वरमुज्ज्वलभास्करम् इष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर उज्ज्वलभास्करम् इष्टममरनरवन्द्यम् वन्दे देवतनुमोचितगर्हित काञ्चनकामिनी बाला मूर्तमहेश्वर उज्ज्वलभास्कर ishtamamaranaravandyam vande vedatanumujitagarhita kanchana kamini bandham murtamaheshwara ujjvala bhaskara ishtamamaranaravandyam koti bhanukara singama katitata koti bhanukara singama katitata abhiravirunkaranadita prachanda tandavanityam abhiravirunkaranadita dingmukha prachanda tandavanityam murtamaheshwara ujjvala bhaskara ishtamamaranaravandyam bhukti mukti kripa kataksha prekshanam aghadala vidalana bhukti mukti kripa kataksha prekshanam aghadala vidalana balachandradhara bandhuvandyamiha naumi viguru vivekanandam murtamaheshwara ujjvala bhaskara ishtamamaranaravandyam Krishna Sharanam Krishna Sharanam
Krishna Sharanam
Sharanye Jai Jai Krishna Sharanam Krishna Sharanam Krishna Sharanam Sharanye Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Sharanye Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Kripahi Kevalam Sharanye Jai Jai Ramakrishna Sharanam Ramakrishna Sharanam Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye Sharanagatoham 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 Sharanye Sharanagatoham 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 Sharanye Ramakrishna Sharanam Ramakrishna Sharanam Ramakrishna Sharanam Sharanye Namah Shri Gurave Namah Shri Gurave Namah Shri Gurave Namo Namah Namah Shri Gurave Namah Shri Gurave Namah Shri Gurave Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam Sharanye. Rama Krishna Jaya Jaya 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 Rama Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam Sharanye.
Well, having joyously and festively celebrated the birthdays of Swami Vivekananda and Swami Brahmananda, we now have the enjoyment and pleasure of taking their prasad, the Thakur's prasad, Ma's prasad, Swamiji's, Raja Maharaj's prasad. So please let's go on in the monastery and do that. There's good reason for us to feel very, very pleased about today and be joyous about our celebration and our feasting.